The essentials, essential oils, history and use, part 15. So first of all, just want to make sure that you know that this is informational and educational in nature, and that it's just another health tool for your tool belt for wellness and health. And it's not medical advice, shouldn't be construed that way, but it could be helpful for people in various situations. And be sure to conduct your own due diligence on anything that you see that may be of benefit to you, just to make sure that it is what you expect it to be, and utilize it properly. And that the information here, while is a lot, is not necessarily exhaustively comprehensive in nature. So today we're going to be talking about lemon. Citrus lemon is the scientific name. It has 1,000+ years history of use and a broad spectrum of ways that it's utilized. It's actually derived from the lemon peel, and it's used in Chinese medicine as well in other places. The maladies or things that are associated with dampness tend to be things that it helps the best, things like common cold, candida, infections, loose bowel, sore throats, respiratory conditions. And of course, we know that limeys was a name that was given to the British sailors. And these aren't limes or lemons, but similar kind of a thing. And they provide lots of vitamin C. The limeys, the sailors, would often become deficient in vitamin C and then succumb to a really debilitating connective tissue disorder known as scurvy. And as that would onset, it would just be devastating to crew. But with the inclusion of vitamin C in their diets, that made a big difference. And that's true for common cold and other immune system support vitamin C in the vitamin C complex, as opposed to ascorbic acid, which really is just the shell of the vitamin C complex. As most things that are refined are different than they are naturally found in the things that God made. They're missing parts. So the manufactured components are either not identical, bioidentical, or not complete in their complex form. One other thing that citrus can be helpful for is supporting the liver. It aids gallstones in reducing their pain and their intensity. One of the compounds, d-limonene, has anti-cancer properties. It's one of the things that takes a lot of volume to create the essential oil. So 45 lemons to a 15 milliliter bottle of lemon essential oil. So 15 milliliter bottle is a average size essential oil bottle, about the size that you see sitting here in front of these lemons. So it's fairly small. So 45 lemons, the oil from the peels of 45 lemons is equivalent to a 15 milliliter bottle once it's been extracted. So that's a pretty high biodensity to essential oil concentration factor. So it aids the body in cleansing from toxins from any body system or part. So it's comprehensive throughout the body systems. It helps to stimulate lymphatic action. So that's the movement of the interstitial fluid into the lymphatic vessels as it moves its way back to the heart and the circulatory system. And it's cleansed through the lymph nodes. So that helps to move things through there. The lymph nodes tend to be catchers of debris that would be extracellular outside the cells in the interstitial space. And they can sometimes become inflamed, but the lemon will help detoxify and move things through. It can help improve energy levels. It's interesting to note that if you put electrodes into a lemon, you can actually get a voltage. So there's a low voltage that comes from the lemon. So there's electroconductivity in lemon, and just the properties of the lemon can provide an improvement in energy levels. Helps to purify the skin, and the essential oil can actually function as an insect repellent. It is one that, when used topically, has some UV sensitivity for about 12 hours post-application. So you'd want to use it either very dilute or on a fabric surface as opposed to a skin surface that was exposed to the sunlight. It's a powerful cleaning agent. So it helps to purify the air when it's diffused, helps to cleanse the surfaces of bacteria and other pathogens. And you can add it to water for a cleanser. Many people just use a wedge of lemon for improving the flavor of water, but adding some lemon essential oil can function as a water cleanser too. Probably not quite like iodine, but that's something that you might want to look into closer and see to what extent the essential oil of lemon can function as a water cleanser. It's also just a bright, uplifting aroma and refreshing smell that can be added to all kinds of things like cleaning components. So the part that's used is the rind. It's cold pressed. So the picture on the upper right is a picture of some lemon being cold pressed, and the oil, or at least the juice before it's been extracted, is from the lemon peel, is coming out of that presser. The main components, the chemical constituents, are d-limonene. So that's on the far right there. You can see it has a ring structure. The ends of those sticks are methanes or carbons with hydrogens around them, like you see on the other diagrams. The alpha and beta pinene are two other compounds that are important bioactive compounds that have been identified in lemon essential oil that are important for its healing properties. And they're built slightly different and have different properties due to their different form. So form goes right along with function. Function and form are very common and synonymous terms in science or biology and life. If the way it is formed doesn't meet its function, then it doesn't work. And different molecules that are in a different arrangement will have different bioactive effects. And that's one of the key reasons why genetically modified organisms, GMOs, bioengineered foods are not helpful for human consumption, because they have been monkeyed with. And so the molecules, the proteins that they make are unique to our physiology and aren't recognized the same way, in fact, often recognized as toxins. In fact, there are reports of, in some cases, infertility issues coming in livestock. And so that would translate probably to humans too, directly related to the feed that they were eating, which was genetically based soy and other things like that. When they changed their feed back to conventionally, or not conventionally, but organically grown, non-GMO grown feed, their reproductive cycles came back into parity. So just to point out the fact that engineered molecules, whatever they come in, their form cannot be controlled and produced in a way that is regular, that our bodies identify, right along with molecules that may be made synthetically, like alpha and beta pinene, for example. Some key properties: they're antiseptic. That is the essential oil of lemon. It's diuretic, so it aids in kidney function. It's antioxidant, so it can function to help to neutralize oxygen-free radicals, which are damaging to tissue and cells. It's antibacterial. You can see that demonstrated here in the petri dish up top. They're looking at a bacterial culture of a particular type of bacteria, and they've put 2, 4, 6, 7 different samples of different compounds there, and you can see the zones of clarity around several of those at a greater or lesser extent. The ones that have a wider margin are going to have a greater bioactivity against that particular pathogen. Those with no halo around them have no effect. So that kind of gives you a relative potency based on the area of region of clarity around whatever that substance is. So that's just a wafer that's been soaked in, for example, it could be essential oil of lemon. We don't know exactly what this example is. The example is just showing the clear zones on a bacterial culture that would show the effectiveness of a particular compound. Detoxification, disinfectant. So you can see how the disinfection action would work right along with antibacterial. It actually functions as a mucolytic. So lytic means to break up. Lysis is to break. Muco is mucus. So it helps to break up mucus. Functions as an astringent. Of course, you know, lemon makes you pucker, and it does that to all tissue that it encounters. It causes it to draw together or tighten up. And it also functions as a degreaser. So it can be added to cleaning compounds and used in home cleansing types of things, home designed cleaners. So some safety, again, mentioned this already, but avoiding ultraviolet or sunlight exposure. And that could be like a UV lamp too, for at least 12 hours post topical use, because there can be some skin sensitivity associated with that. So it blends well with peppermint essential oil, basil essential oil, and rosemary essential oil. So those are some easily blendable oils that have some excellent properties in their own right, which we will talk about coming up here in the future as individual oils, but they blend well with these three. And there are other oils that it blends well with in addition to these. So some key uses for the lemon essential oil. helpful in gallstones and kidney stones. So gallstones, of course, are in the gallbladder and the kidney function. So use it internally for body detoxification and general detoxification and lymphatic cleansing. So again, we talked about it helping to move the lymph through the lymphatic system. So you can use it internally just by putting several drops in a glass of water. You can use it topically, applying it to the ears or the ankles. So in those two places, there would be less ultraviolet light exposure potential, ankles particularly, for most people, and also aids the pH balance of the body. And in particular, even though lemon is an acidic plant compound, if you test it with a pH strip, once it enters the body, it actually alkalizes the body, as most fruit does. It's a very strong alkalizer. It's not good in the teeth. That's why when you use lemon drinks, that you should drink them with a straw, especially concentrated lemon drinks, so that you're bypassing the teeth and preserving your enamel. But once into your body, it provides an alkaline system. Disease thrives in acid environments. That's why it's important to keep your body alkaline. Fruits and vegetables are generally alkalizing, as opposed to grains, and particularly meat and dairy are very acidifying. So those tend the body towards an acid state and a more disease-prone state. So pH balance is a crucial component to the use of lemon in all its forms, but also in the essential oil form. So it can help combat heartburn and acid reflux. Use it internally, blend it with ginger essential oil and water, and it helps to relieve the symptoms of heartburn and acid reflux. Of course, there's other things you can do with that too. Not eating highly acidic foods, not eating so late when you go to lay down. Those, your stomach not able to hold the contents into it appropriately. There could be some valve incompetency that causes GERD or gastroesophageal reflux disease, and that's the stomach acid coming up into the esophagus and causing heartburn. Also, we talked about mucolytic compounds, helping with congestion and mucus. Use it topically to rub over the chest area. So again, that would be an area that would probably at nighttime exposure would be best. That way you'd have plenty of time. And it's typically covered, so the sensitivity is only going to be in the areas where the topical application of lemon has been made, as opposed to where it hasn't been. So your chest typically isn't exposed to the sunshine, and that's a pretty safe place to do that. Also, aromatically can help with congestion and mucus, just diffusing it into the room that you may be in. So it could be helpful during sleep, perhaps. Stress. So it can help de-stress through aromatic diffusion. Rhinitis. That's just another kind of term for runny nose or other allergies. So you can use it aromatically, inhaling from the hands like you would eucalyptus or tea tree oil. You can place it topically on the bridge of the nose. It helps to slow a runny nose. So that the bridge of the nose is shown here. There's a kind of a nice kind of red patch on this particular individual right across the nose. And perhaps they used this lemon essential oil and then had some sun exposure. So you want to make sure that you don't have that sun exposure that could have a skin reaction associated with it. So nighttime would be the best time to use that. Internally, 2 to 4 drops along with lavender and peppermint to help with allergy relief. So it has an antihistamine kind of effect. And then gout, arthritis, and rheumatism actually respond quite well in addition. Internally, you can use it 2 to 4 drops in a glass of water, just like you would for rhinitis or other allergies. This also has some benefits for varicose veins. So those are veins that are running at the surface of the skin, can be very painful. They aren't running parallel or straight. They kind of have some extra bends in them and some valve incompetencies. You can see the diagram on the left, the normal versus the abnormal vein structure. And this typically comes on with the onset of age and has something to do with inactivity or long periods of standing that are not inactive, just kind of passive standing. So there can be a painful thing, but using it topically with cypress essential oil can be helpful. And then also using aromatically the essential oil of lemon with rosemary can help focus the concentration of individuals who are needing to think better. You can also use it as a cleaning product alternative from harsh chemicals and compounds that you wouldn't necessarily want to have In your home, ammonias and Cloroxes and things like that, you can use it as a degreaser, as a furniture polish. Here's a recipe for a spray bottle that do-it-yourself lemon all-purpose cleaner. So 2 cups of distilled water, 2 cups of white vinegar, 10 to 20 drops of lemon essential oil, and then use that in a dark glass spray bottle. So you want to combine the lemon and of the other ingredients in the spray bottle, cap it tightly and shake it to combine it. So pretty simple 1-2 step to do that. You want to use it in glass. Glass is very important because it doesn't leach. Glass is inert, and you're not going to be getting other things, chemicals and whatnot from glass containers. So it can also assist in the abatement of allergy symptoms. So lemon essential oil can aid in people with seasonal allergies. It functions as a natural antihistamine and can help, as we noticed before, relieve mucus, excess mucus, and reduce systemic inflammation. So mix 1 to 2 drops with equal parts lemon, peppermint, and lavender essential oil, and put that in water, and you can drink that to help with allergy symptoms. Also helps aid and boost the immune system. It's antibacterial in its own right. The lemon essential oil aids the body in removing toxins. So we noted that it's diuretic in action as well as antibacterial. So both of those things help to move it out of the body, kill it, and actually protects against E. coli, which is the lower rod-shaped bacteria, and salmonella. So those are some pretty common bacteria that when they get out of hand can cause very intense distress, intestinal distress, and can even cause death if it gets out of control. So you can use it internally and can have antibacterial, antibiotic kinds of effects on these 2 in particular that they've noted. So some research that surrounds these. We can look at the effect of lemon inhalation aromatherapy on nausea and vomiting of pregnancy. So that's an interesting study. It was a double-blind and randomized controlled clinical trial. So basically what they did is they just used diffusing of the essential oil. Women who had nausea and vomiting during pregnancy, which can be common, they used to prescribe some medications for that. There was one that was prescribed and actually had some significant side effects in the past that led to birth defects. So this would be a natural way to do that without having to have those other concerns associated with it. So this was in the Iranian medical journal, The Crescent, by Yavari Kia et al. Also, lemon oil vapor can cause an anti-stress effect. It modulates the serotonin receptor, which is 5-HT, and the DA activities in mice. So this was looking at in mice as a model, but that has been extrapolated to benefits for humans, behavior and brain studies to 2006 September. So it has antidepressant-like effects on mice. And so this is essentially, the vapor is the diffused essential oil, essentially, or you could inhale it from your hands, the cupped hands, like you do eucalyptus or tea tree oil, as we mentioned earlier. There are a number of oils that can be, their aroma can be benefited from in the same way. Essential oil from lemon peels inhibit key enzymes linked to neurodegenerative conditions and pro-oxidant-induced lipid peroxidation. So neurodegenerative, that means a nerve that's breaking down in some way and ceasing to function the way it's supposed to. So it can help protect from that. So it inhibits key enzymes that cause that. Pro-oxidant would be things that are accelerating oxidation or oxidative stress. And so that's kind of the other side of the action of its antioxidant effects. And that's the Journal of Oleoscience in 2014 by Obo et al. Aromatherapy is a safe and effective treatment for the management of agitation and severe dementia. So many times those with severe dementia can be very agitated and not calm and just kind of jittery. And they looked at lemon essential oil as a potential way of mitigating that and helping to calm people. So that this, no doubt, study included lemon essential oil, but also probably others were included in this study. Ballard et al. In the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry in 2002. So there's some pretty simple, basic, safe ways that don't rely on medication that can have psychotropic effects, as well as physiological side effects that then in their own rights may need to be treated with more medications. So you get this medical pharmaceutical cascade that gets built in as you tend to have symptoms and then side effects that need their own treatment, not realizing that they're coming directly from the medication used. In 2001, from the Journal of Infection and Chemotherapy, the official journal of the Japan Society of Chemotherapy. So chemotherapy is a way of treating cancer and some other things, but mostly cancers are treated with chemotherapy. They were essentially screening for the antibacterial effects of a variety of essential oils and respiratory tract pathogens using a modified dilution assay method. So the lemon essential oil was one of the essential oils that was noted as being beneficial for pathogens in the respiratory tract. And during various therapeutic treatments of cancer and other things, they can depress the immune system to the point where you actually become more susceptible to other pathogens in the process. So you could end up dying or becoming sick from something that isn't even the primary cause or the primary thing being treated at the time. So this is one way to help mitigate that, and or it could be a first line of defense actually, rather than going through the other aspects.
To be aware of new videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the Preparing for the Time of Trouble channel. For more free videos and downloadable audio podcasts, as well as handouts, go to www.preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com. Topic categories include recordings of live seminar presentations, country living, sustainable gardening, homestead remedies, how to be self-sufficient when the grid goes down, wild edible and medicinal plants, hydrotherapy, and end-time Bible prophecies. To take advantage of these free resources, go to preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com.